Hi, I'm David, and welcome to another non-NickFit video. Today, we're looking at Ninjas, which is a deck I've had some success with over the last maybe month or so. Um, and the deck has changed a little bit from where Ninjas was a year ago, and there's actually some debate about how the deck should be built. This is how I think the deck should be built, so we're gonna talk a little bit about that, and what are some of the choices and why you might want to play this deck. Firstly, one of the things you might notice is the creature count is pretty high. I'm up at 22. I could even, I've even cut one Yuriko. So you actually could even go to 23 pretty safely. And one of the choices that we've made here is we're down on Retrofitter Foundry. So I'm running two Retrofitter Foundries. I think some of the lists I've 5-0'd with recently have one. This is because we're seeing Meltdown as a very common sideboard card. Whereas previously, like a multi Retrofitter Foundry hand for ninjas was a pretty strong hand. Now, with Meltdown, basically for 2 mana, somebody can wipe out all the mana that you've invested into Retrofitter Foundry. The card's still pretty good. You can still make a 4/4 with Ornithopter. You can still turn Changeling Outcast into a 4/4. But, compared with maybe a year and a half ago or so, you're much less willing to invest significant amounts of mana into Retrofitter Foundry. One of the other choices here is Moon Circuit Hacker, which is new. This is a Neon Dynasty card. And this ninja, I'm convinced that this should be a 4 of in basically every ninja's deck. I actually think it's more important to play 4 of these than Yuriko or Ingenious Infiltrator. And the reason for that is that with ninjutsu with a single blue, this enables a whole bunch of things. Even though it's not quite as powerful, when you connect the second time, you only get a looting effect, you don't get a draw and a discard. And I should also mention that the card is currently bugged on MTGO, where you basically, if you decline the draw trigger, you still have to discard. So the card's pretty bad right now. On MTGO. So if they have like Narset, you always want to swing this thing at Narset because if you decline the trigger, you you still have to discard. So it's pretty much the worst of all worlds. Under normal conditions, like in paper, you could decline the trigger and then you don't draw and you don't discard. Anyway, the reason why ninjutsu for a single blue is so important is one, on turn 2, this enables attacking with an Ornithopter or something else, another 0-drop creature, and putting in Moon Circuit Hacker, you can either do that in addition to pondering, so you can like ponder, find a ninjutsu, or sometimes if you have 2 of these, or sometimes on turn 3, you can ninjutsu a ninja. They might save a removal spell for trying to hit a ninja after ninjutsu, at which point you ninjutsu again to dodge the removal spell. So overall, like, Moon Circuit Hacker is very good right now. Um, it's still a ninja for Yuriko and Ingenious Infiltrator, which draw for each ninja that deals combat damage, so that's pretty key. Moon Circuit Hacker only draws when it deals combat damage, so it's not quite as good. But for hands where when you don't have an Ornithopter or you don't have a Changeling Outcast, this it's perfectly reasonable to play out a 2-drop creature and swing with it, and then ninjutsu something else. But also just the ninjutsu for a single blue is a very powerful. That's very strong right now. The deck's running perhaps a little more removal than it has in the past. I'm running 2 Fatal Pushes, 2 Snuff Outs, which is especially important in the initiative matchups, and Murderous Cut. That's on top of 2 bounce effects in Brazen Borrower, and I'm running Otawara, Soaring City. This I'm not. I'm pretty sold on Otawara. I'm less sold on Mystic Sanctuary. A lot of Ninjas decks are running 17 lands. I've decided to go to 18 with a Mystic Sanctuary, which enables some shenanigans. You can, for example, crack a fetch, do Mystic Sanctuary, put like a Snuff Out or a Force of Will on top right before your Yuriko trigger in order to put a 4 or a 5 on top of the deck. But also you can just, recur a removal spell or something like that. So it's pretty good. Changeling Outcast is pretty good right now. Um, for the reason that it is unblockable. So in the initiative decks, you always have a way to take back the initiative. They basically have to use a Solitude on this guy. So it's just very good right now for taking the initiative. And the initiative matchup can really snowball in a couple different ways. Like if you're able to take back the initiative and then say, stop them from taking the initiative with like a Snuff Out or a Fatal Push or something like that, you know you'll gain the advantage that they normally are used to getting, and you'll spiral out of control and win the game. Um, the deck is running 5/0 drops, so I'm running 4 Ornithopters and Rograkh, son of Rohgahh. This is like a commander card that people aren't really used to seeing in Legacy, but the key ability here among its couple abilities is Menace, which means that it can't be blocked by a single creature. So like if they have, there's even flying creatures that could normally block an Ornithopter. They cannot block Rograkh. So Rograkh's pretty good. It's a perfectly reasonable card to ninjutsu. Cool. Talking about the sideboard, we have a lot of the sideboard's pretty normal. I think 2 back to basics is pretty standard. This deck is pretty bad against the lands decks. Lands and even like green white depths green white depths is not quite as bad as lands, but they really want something like back to basics. Back to basics is also good in some other matchups like Cloud Post and stuff like that. And there's Hurkyl's Recall. Hurkyl's Recall is good against any deck with Urza Saga, but especially things like 8 cast. It's very good there. Blue Blast can be good in a number of matchups. I bring it in against Delver because it hits a number of things that they really care about, from Expressive Iteration to Dragon Rage Channeler. You can also just snipe like a Minsk and Boo with it or something else. So it's pretty good. I'm only running 1. I have 1 Force of Negation, which is like a token respect for spell-based combo. 2 Surgicals to hit the graveyard decks. And then 4 cards here are dedicated towards sort of creature matchups of various kinds. Ninjas historically struggles when the opposing team is able to just put up blockers. So one of the best ways to clear the blockers is things like Plague Engineer. You can always swing with a Plague Engineer and then ninjutsu it and replace it into some different type and something like that. Historically, the decks run a couple Plague Engineers, but because of the white initiative decks and also the red-white initiative decks, I guess to a lesser extent, I'm running Dystopia, which is good against a bunch of matchups, but especially that one. You can sort of just play this, and anytime they play a creature, it'll just die during their upkeep. I kind of like this better than whatever the 3-mana black card that destroys all white creatures. I think that's Virtue's Ruin. I like Dystopia better. It's good in a couple other matchups too. It's good against things like elves. It's good against Naya Depths. Any sort of like fair green deck or green white deck, Dystopia is just very good, and it's still good against matchups like Death and Taxes and stuff like that. And then Attrition is a card I'm not 100% sold on, but this is good in most creature matchups that are pretty heavy, including Delver. Like, I'm running 22 creatures. They probably are running less, unless it's like Yori and Death and Taxes or something like that. I am perfectly willing to trade an Ornithopter away for, whatever their best threat is. A couple other artifacts, one-ofs. Grafdigger's Cage, again, good against the graveyard decks, good against Green Sun Zenith decks. Also randomly good against like 8 casts, because it can stop them from recurring things from the graveyard. Damping Sphere, good against Storm decks, good against Elves, good against anything that tries to... I usually don't bring it in against like Soul Land decks, but if there's lands that tap for a bunch of mana, things like Cradle or things like Cloud Post, I'll bring it in there, but it's also very good against any Storm matchup. And then Torpor Orb, again, this is good against any Thassa's Oracle deck, and it's good against the initiative decks. So you can just, like, if you're able to stick this on turn 2, you stop everything. Yeah, they can still cast a Solitude as a 3/2, even for free, but the Solitude doesn't destroy anything, and they're not able to take the initiative. So anyway, that's the deck. We will see how it goes in a league. All right, so I'm on the play here. This is a keep. I'm up against an unknown opponent. I'm pretty sure I played this person, but I don't remember what they were on. They've mulliganed to 6. This hand, generally, when you're choosing whether to keep a hand, you want a hand that's got 2 of the 3 of like a 0 or 1 drop, a cantrip, and a payoff ninja. Obviously, like in certain matchups, you have to have Force of Will or something like that. And there's a question actually which land to lead on here. I actually think either Mystic Sanctuary or Otawara is fine. Like I can try to bait a Wasteland here by playing Mystic Sanctuary, which I think is perfectly reasonable. So I'm going to actually play that. Oops. Hopefully I didn't screw that up. Yeah, I almost F6 through my turn, but I'm going to play Ornithopter here. And then skip through the turn. All right. Almost misplayed there, but I got away with one. All right, Chrome Mox. So let's see if this is a white initiative deck. It sure looks like it is. So this is going to be with 2 Chrome Moxes. They're going to need a land and then, oh, brutal. So now I can't counter the white plume here. All right, they have the initiative. So what I really need to do here is draw either a like a payoff ninja, or I need to draw a ninja that can be. I need to draw Moon Circuit Hacker, which can be hit for 1. So they have just 2 cards. Yeah, we'll see how it goes. Let's see if I can get a payoff ninja here. Something like Snuff Out would also be great. That isn't that great here. I'm going to open with Brainstorm and see if I can get lucky here. So I know my opponent's got a Plains and an unknown card. All right. It's actually not terrible here. I'm going to play the Retrofitter Foundry, and then I can actually bounce the white plume on, like they're going to go to the forge and bounce the white plume, and I can then make a 4/4. Well, we'll see how this goes. I'm going to put back Otawara and Island. I'm going to do it the other way. Island and then Otawara. Play the Underground Sea, play the Retrofitter Foundry. So I'm not going to be able to block here because they are going to put 2 counters on it. So that's going to be unfortunate. And then normally I wouldn't be able to attack through it without something like Brazen Borrower, because they are going to, they would be able to untap. So even as a 4/4, like that wouldn't work. You can just see how this deck is pretty challenging. So here they're doing a Palace Jailer. I'm going to force that. So the Palace Jailer would be pretty brutal. I guess I could have made a 4/4, but I think it's better to just do it that way. So I can't actually block here and make the 4/4, which is what I'm going to do. So at least prevent the 5 damage. Oh, let's see here. Go to blockers. I'm going to declare the block, and then I'll make the 4/4. Let's see here. So they have an unknown card, and they get to untap and play the white plume here. So or they're going to untap the white plume, and I'm going to bounce the white plume with the Brazen Borrower. All right. Let's just play the Underground Sea. So my next card is going to be an island, and then I guess I could bounce it again, which isn't great, but it's not terrible. So I'm gonna bounce the white plume. I actually, this makes it so that I don't draw the island. I'll get the island from the construct token, taking the initiative. Although my opponent will take back the initiative by playing the white plume adventurer. All right, let's just grab an island, which I cannot play, and then I'll pass the turn. So at least now my opponent doesn't. They're gonna play the white plume, and then they can go to the trap and make me lose 5. All right, nothing I can do about that. So presumably they go to the trap here, and then I'll lose 5 life. Which I'm actually doing fine in terms of life total. Like sometimes this matchup can just really spiral out of control. And then, let's see, do they have a swords here? That would be pretty unfortunate. No, just a Maria. Oh, they're going to play something. Walking Ballista for 1. All right. Okay. That's pretty good. So I'm going to swing, and they have a couple choices here. But they're probably blocking with one of these. All right. So I can always bounce something with Otawara, including this lets me bounce my own thing, which the other Brazen Borrower doesn't let you do that. But I also kind of want to cast the Brazen Borrower, but I can also make a Thopter. So, but I think you start with an attack and see what happens. See what they block. Okay, they're just throwing the Walking Ballista in front of it. Alright, they're going to ping me. And I'm going to just pass the turn. I don't have to do anything right now. So now they draw an extra card. So they're going to get to Throne of the Dead 3 almost certainly before I am. You know, they probably have another initiative card, which there's very little I can do about that. Alright, let's see how this goes. 10 life. Okay, so they're just passing the turn here. I am going to cast the Brazen Borrower, which gives me a flyer. They do have Solitude mana up, which is kind of annoying. We'll see what happens here. Are they going to Solitude and upkeep? They are not. That's a pretty interesting draw here. I have kind of an interesting choice here. I can play the Otawara and leave up Force of Will, or the other option is if I swing, I can always make a Retrofitter. Huh. I think I'm going to actually play out the Otawara and leave up Force of Will mana. This is that's a tough choice here. Because I can also, on their turn, make a Retrofitter, make a Servo, and block the White Plume, and then kill the White Plume. Okay, so they're going to block with the White Plume. Okay, here's something. 4 damage to that thing. Well, I can't do anything about that. That's pretty unfortunate. Okay, well, that's dead. Do they just lose the White Plume for nothing here? Looks like it. Okay, well, they go to Throne of the Dead 3 here. Nothing I can do about that. So here they get some big creature. Let's see what their choices were. Okay, they get a White Plume, which I can't use Fatal Push on, actually. And it's a 6/4, which is pretty good. I guess they didn't have great choices here, actually. There was Thalia or Elite Spellbinder, I guess. Well, I'm going to let them make their choices here. They're almost certainly taking the Force of Will. But actually, the fact that this is a 6/4 isn't that amazing for them. Because he actually doesn't block the construct token. Okay. So I'm gonna, I mean, he can block the construct token, but it doesn't do a lot. All right, so I'm gonna brainstorm here and sort of see what I get. Snuff Out's pretty good, although it doesn't, I can't target the Elite Spellbinder here. All right, I'm gonna actually put the fatal push back. Boy, I really don't want to use the Snuff Out for life if I can avoid it. Like if I can avoid that, that would be really good. All right. Well, let's do it like this. Yeah, let's do it like this. Because I can always ponder into the Snuff Out if I have to. And I'm going to swing and see if I can take back the initiative here. I'm going to swing with everything, because worst case here, you can actually, if he just blocks the servo, you can just turn the servo into a Thopter. Let's see if he's got another one of those Iganjos. Let's see, there wasn't an Iganjo there, so this is just a 6/4, so if it blocks, it'll trade. Okay. Okay. Took the initiative, that's good. I don't really want to put the tokens on the servo, but I guess that's what you do. Here. Do I want to go to the forge? I think I do. Like, I really want to pressure my opponent's life total, and I want to force them to trade off against the servo token. So I think that is exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm going to go to the forge and put it onto that. Even if I have to sacrifice it, it's probably okay. And then at this point, I think I'm just going to ponder. So my plan is to just make a servo at the end of turn. I think that this is a fine draw. I think I'll put back the polluted, ponder, and then Snuff Out. Actually, I'm going to leave the Snuff Out on top of the deck. And that's basically in case they have an elite spellbinder. Okay, I'm going to pass the turn. I'm going to ponder next turn. And hopefully like shuffle away that land that's on top. I want to leave the Snuff Out on top. Having a removal spell on top of the deck, it seems pretty good. Because my opponent could very easily play like a Seasoned Dungeoneer or something here. All right, they just scoop it up. Can't take the initiative back, and I was able to get it. Yeah, so even with Throne of the 3, that wasn't enough. But they sort of know that the writing's on the wall. I go to the trap, which takes them to 7, and I swing for 3, which takes them to 4, and then make a servo. So they're probably pretty close to dead there. Okay, so that was a good one. Definitely want Torpor Orb, and I think I want both Dystopias. They have Thalia, which is pretty annoying, but I don't know if that's enough to bring in Plague Engineer. Attrition is also worth considering, but I'm not necessarily going to bring that in. I think these 3 are for sure. These 2 are a maybe. Yeah. Retrofitter Foundry is actually pretty okay in this matchup. Like making 4/4 Ornithopters after blocking feels great. I'm definitely not cutting any of the removal, so those are all keeping in there. Brazen Borrower is actually not very good in the matchup, although they you do kind of need it a little bit against Chalice. So I'm definitely leaving in at least one. I think on the draw you can cut a Daze, and I might even cut a Force of Will. Even it almost sounds crazy to cut Force of Will against this matchup, but like they're clearly running 4 Chalices or 4 Caverns, so Force of Will feels a little weaker. Daze I think is for sure a cut. I might even cut both Dazes, but I think a Force is a possible cut. Other than that, I think one of the more expensive ninjas might be an okay cut. This matchup you don't have to get card advantage to beat them, so like the payoff ninjas aren't as important. What's important is connecting and making sure that they lose the initiative and that you're able to kill them with the removal spells. I think I was able to mute that cough. Cool, yeah, fighting off COVID. All right, so I'm going to cut those. I'm definitely bringing in these. I think the rest of this is probably okay. I think the Ingenious Infiltrator, I could probably cut one for a Plague Engineer. That's about it. If I don't see Thalias, if they boarded out Thalias, which by the way, they should, then I'll probably cut the Plague Engineer for something like Attrition in match 3. This hand's great. Yeah, this hand's great. Let's keep this. So I don't have a Force of Will, so if they have a turn 1, like nothing I can do. Oh, they're just going to Chalice me? That's fine. So can't play the Brainstorm anymore, but that's fine. Oh, Chalice on 0. Now that's bad for me. That's not good. I was very happy about my being immune to whatever they were doing, but now things are bad. Because without Chalice on 0, now there's a lot less I can do. So this is a little bad. We'll see how this goes. So now if they just jam White Plume, I'm really in trouble. Cool. Oh, Thalia. Thalia's okay. It's annoying, but it's okay. Okay, can't play the Changeling Outcast. So I guess I'm just jamming the Moon Circuit Hacker here. But they can just leave Thalia untapped, and there's almost nothing I can do about it. Hope to draw that Plague Engineer, which now doesn't even kill the Thalia. Okay, they're just going to leave back Thalia. I'm in kind of a tough spot. Do I want to play out the Otawara? Or do I want to save the Otawara for bouncing? I think you just play out the Otawara here. Like, I need to get to 4 mana to get to that Ingenious Infiltrator. Because now I have a bunch of dead cards. 4 dead cards in my hand. Stopped by the Chalice. And what are they considering at the end of turn here? Something like Palace Jailer would be very bad for me here. They have Solitude mana open. Yeah, playing the Yuriko is pointless against the Caracas. So I think I'll just save up, leave open mana that doesn't do anything. But yeah, I'm in bad shape. Need those Force of Wills to pitch my Brainstorms. Okay. This is a very weird matchup. Okay. I have to pitch here, which is probably going to be a Brainstorm. I think that's fine. My opponent's actually, I think this costs 7. Oh, they would need triple white. So, yeah. I guess they need triple white and another mana, actually, because of Thalia. Marius Call, very expensive. Okay, they have unlimited mana. I'm hoping they tap out eventually. Okay, this is good. I'm going to play the Ingenious Infiltrator. I'm debating whether to fetch. I think I'll just fetch an Underground Sea here. This at least gives me, I can force them to tap the Caracas at the worst case. But they'll probably like Solitude or something. They know I'm tapped out, can't counter anything with Force of Will because of Thalia. White Plume? Touch the Spirit Realm. Okay. That's fine. Yep. That's fine. I have another one. Okay, Force of Will is good, although maybe not as much here, because I won't be able to cast it on this turn. So hopefully they don't have some big draw this turn, and then next turn I'll have Force of Will up, as well as I'm almost to Murderous Cut, actually. And I could always throw like Rograkh into the Chalice to open up Murderous Cut. Okay. Playing the Iganjo, man. Are they jamming? Oh, it looks like we are getting a Maria's Call here. Which also makes Thalia indestructible. Okay, that's fun. Nothing I can do here. So the Murderous Cut, I'm debating just throwing the Rograkh into the Chalice. Yeah, because I'm going to need to Murderous Cut those angels next turn. Yeah, I'm going to throw the Rograkh into the Chalice. Okay, that was on purpose. And then I'll just pass the turn. Nothing I need to do here. But now I have Force of Will up, and I can Force plus Murderous Cut. Okay, let's see. Oh, human creature uncounterable. That's bad. Oh, okay. Okay, this is less bad. White Plume. I'm going to force that. And I'll pitch... I'm going to pay 1, and I will pitch Brainstorm. The Yuriko at least has use, so I'll pitch that, even though my opponent's got got Caracas. I would much rather have that. Okay, odd choice, but you know, I guess them's the apples. I'm gonna try to I'm gonna Murderous Cut one of the angel tokens. Just, you know, use my mana. I might as well use all of the mana, and I'm gonna delve away those things and leave the Force of Will in there. So now I hope to draw something like Snuff Out or something, and I can, okay, I have another card I can't play. I guess I might as well play the Yuriko and just sort of like tax my opponent's mana. See if that does anything. They'll probably just Caracas it, which is fine. Yep. I mean, I know they have it, but this is a very weird matchup. I don't think I've ever gone to turn 10 against Initiative before. Another Amaria's Call? Oh, brutal. Okay. Nothing I can do against that. Really need like a dystopia here. Nothing I can do there. Probably dead to those. Yeah, I think this game is over. So I'm going to just concede. Not show my opponent anything else. Like, even if I draw dystopia now, it's not going to be fast enough. I don't have Virtue's Ruin. Okay, so on the play, I think I can bring in at least 1 Daze, which I think is reasonable. I'm debating cutting a 1-drop to try to just, you know, they're leaving in the Chalices, they're leaving in the Thalias, so I think that's pretty reasonable. I think Attrition isn't bad. I think I'd rather have that probably than... maybe I still want Plague Engineer. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely not cutting Fatal Push. Maybe it's a Retrofitter actually, which is such a great card. But maybe it's just trim on the 1-drop slightly in order to have a couple more like just be a little less vulnerable to Chalice. We sort of saw what Chalice did to me that turn. I think these are reasonable. Like, there's no way I'm cutting Changeling Outcast, you know. Yeah, I think this is good. Let's see if we can get a little lucky. Okay, this hand's great. I have a Force on turn 1. I have a Snuff Out plus Changeling Outcast. Hand feels fantastic. Let's keep. Yeah, sounds good. So here, I won't be able to cast the Fatal Push. Or rather, I won't be able to cast it with Revolt, because I have to use this to get the Changeling Outcast into play. But it's very important that I get the Changeling Outcast into play. And it's perfectly fine to use, like, if they just play an initiative creature, you just snuff it out and take the initiative, and then they're kind of in trouble. Yep, that's fine. Okay. Playing around Daze, maybe? Thalia. I think I'm okay with Thalia. Thalia, I can just Fatal Push. Ooh, wow, that's really good. Okay, you got me. Can't do anything about that. That was a pretty tight play from my opponent there. Pretty good. Okay, so I can't, or I don't want to Brainstorm, I think, here. What I am going to do is, I think I'm just going to Fatal Push the Thalia, and I'm going to do it right now in case they have touched the Spirit Realm. So we're just going to Fatal Push the Thalia, and we'll see how it goes. Now, the big question comes here. If they play like a White Plume, do I force it? And I think the answer is yes. Okay. So I think even though this is like ultra awkward, I think I have to force this. Because now I'm sort of into top deck mode. But my opponent's lands are now a little awkward, and you know, I still have a Snuff Out. That's a great draw. I'm going to play the Otawara. Actually, yes, I am going to play the Otawara, and I'm going to bounce the Chrome Mox. So this is just tax my opponent's mana as much as possible. So this forces them to, like, have more. If like they need more threats, like, and I can play the Brazen Borrower out next turn, which is a pretty good threat actually in this matchup. So I'm going to play the Rograkh, which they can bounce, but again, it taxes their mana. Sure. So I'm going to be doing that every turn. It's turned Rograkh into a glorified, you got Thalia, but I will probably snuff her out next turn. But I'm going to open with Brazen Borrower. All right. Now, I have to pay for the Snuff Out, actually. Kind of awkward. But I'm debating whether I want to do it right now. Because you don't want to do it if they have Karakas up. I think I'm okay leaving it, because they're going to be trying to use Karakas on Rograkh, which I think is fine. So let's get in for 3. I'm going to just play the Rograkh. And I'm gonna hold the Snuff Out. I don't want to use it if I don't have to. There could potentially be better targets, I guess is maybe the right way to put it. interesting. It's kind of curious because you can't block Rograkh. Alright, well, we're swinging with Brazen Borrower some more. You got it. Okay, so we're going to play the Rograkh, and then I got to spend 2 to play the Retrofitter. And do I want to just fetch right now? I think I will just fetch right now, so that I have mana open to Retrofitter. And let's just get a island. Okay, they're just going to scoop it up. So, yeah, at this point, you know, I have the Brazen Borrower, and Retrofitter Foundry, like, is pretty, it's pretty okay, even though I did cut one. I cut one because of Chalice mostly, but it's actually pretty good in this matchup. They sort of know what's up here. I'm going to just start making tokens, and they're out of gas. All right, on the play again. That's pretty good. I don't think I have ever played this opponent. I'm going to keep this. So this is actually kind of an interesting spot, where we can brainstorm like on our turn in order to, because we have a second brainstorm, and hope to hit a 0-drop. I'm actually willing to try that. It sort of makes me look like a storm deck a little bit, but I'm gonna try it. So let's just get an island and brainstorm, and we're hoping for a 0. Didn't get there. That's okay. This is actually still pretty good. This is pretty good. I think I can put the Underground Sea on top. So I'm gonna just do that, and I don't want to leave myself open to getting hit for 2 Moon Circuit Hackers, so I'll put one of those on top. And I'll just pass the turn. So I kind of look like a storm deck right now. We'll see what my opponent thinks. So next turn I can brainstorm again and then play the Retrofitter Foundry. Okay. So we're up against, looks like another white initiative deck. So now the question becomes, we can play out Moon Circuit Hacker actually, which isn't horribly unreasonable. Like Moon Circuit Hacker's pretty good. It's a threat, and then like if they play out an initiative card, hopefully we can hit a like a land and hit a fetch land and fatal push it. So I think I'm gonna actually just play out the Moon Circuit Hacker here, and I'll just grab an Underground Sea. So just play out basically the plan here is play out a threat, because like even if they take the initiative, like if I'm able to fatal push and take the initiative back, then they're kind of in trouble a little bit. Not big trouble, but you know, it gives me an advantage. All right, is this a white plume? No, just a swords. That's fine. Chalice on one? No, Walking Ballista. Okay. Walking Ballista on one is kind of annoying. I can fatal push it. Or I could just play Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow. Or I could brainstorm and then play Retrofitter Foundry. Huh, lots of choices. I'm actually inclined to just play the Brainstorm and then play the Retrofitter Foundry and see what happens. Okay. Okay. This just got much better. This just got much better. Okay. So I think this is good. What do I not want? I definitely want Fatal Push. I definitely want Retrofitter. I definitely want Ornithopter. I think I at least want 2 of these ninjas, which then means I'm putting back a ninja and probably Otawara. Yeah. So let's put back Otawara, and then I'm gonna put back Yuriko, just in case they have something like Caracas. I think I'd rather have the Ingenious Infiltrator. So let's play this. Let's cast the Ornithopter, and we'll cast a Retrofitter Foundry. And I'm leaving up fetch into Fatal Push if they try to do something. Like if they try to put a counter on Walking Ballista, for example. I'll probably do that. Let's see what they got here. Okay, you have a City of Traders. Or I guess you don't have a City of Traders anymore. You have a Cavern of Souls. Let's see what they got here. Okay, that's fine. All right, they have a Plains and 4 Unknowns. I'm gonna Fatal Push the Seasoned Engineer on their turn. So Yuriko's gone. Maybe I should have put back the Moon Circuit Hacker, but my plan is to take the initiative with Ingenious Infiltrator and then replay the Ornithopter. All right. So now, like, sans something like Solitude. Oh, that's an okay draw, actually. So I'm going to swing here. And we'll see what my opponent's got. So now, even if they, like, Solitude, if they Solitude after blocks, things get a little awkward. Oh, do I want to put in the Ingenious Infiltrator or Yuriko? I'm going to just put in the Ingenious Infiltrator here. And hope to take the initiative. If they Solitude, I can put in the Moon Circuit Hacker to at least save it. Okay, so this forces them to use the Walking Ballista. Okay. So they can Walking Ballista the Moon Circuit Hacker. Yeah, that's fine. But it forces them to use everything, basically. And then I'll just play the Ornithopter again. And based on what they do, I'll consider what I do in terms of, like, do I want to sack the Ornithopter or do I want to... okay, they're going to scry. So even though that didn't, like, I didn't connect and they still had the initiative, I was able to get rid of the Walking Ballista, the Solitude, and they had to pitch a creature in order to do it. So overall, I don't feel like that's that bad for me. And we know that they have, one of their known cards is a Plains here. So let's see what they do with the Scry 2. So one of the things that's kind of tricky you can do, I mean, you sort of saw a light version of it there. Okay, they did put one on top. Well, we sort of saw a light version of it, was I swung with the Ornithopter, I ninjutsu'd, and then I ninjutsu'd again. So if I draw a land, I can do that again here. Okay, they played the land. So they could technically have the whatever the bird wizard that searches. I don't remember that thing's name. Aven Mind Sensor. But I'm gonna just start with swinging with Ornithopter and putting in the Ingenious Infiltrator again. Let's see what they got. All right, let's try it again. All right, looks like they got something. Okay, just a touch. That's fine. We'll just play the Ornithopter again and pass the turn. And now, though, I'm swinging with the other thing too, because that, that didn't permanently deal with any problems here. And now, I assume they sort of want this to get to like a seasoned Dungeoneer or something like that. Which I definitely cannot counter. So, all right, Caracas, that's kind of bad against Yuriko. Or bad for me, I guess. And they're leaving the mana open. Kind of awkward. Okay, well, nothing I can do to that. And oh, now they go to the Catacombs. Oh, that's pretty awkward. Okay, at this point, I think what I'm going to do is convert the Ornithopter into a 4/4 and Brazen Borrower the skeleton token. So I think that's my plan here. Because now ninjutsuing in Yuriko has gone down in value. Daze isn't very good. But let's just open with Brazen Borrower on the skeleton token. And we're swinging with the construct, and we'll see if we can. I mean, they're not blocking, so. Oh, they are blocking. Okay, that was unexpected. Okay, I mean that was not what I was expecting, but okay. All right. So they go to Throne of the Dead 3. Very awkward. They have a Palace Jailer, an Archon of Emeria, Elite Spellbinder, Anointed Peacekeeper. Man, all these are good. Okay, 5/5. 5/5 in what do you call it? That's awkward. And now they're the Monarch. That's trouble. Yeah, you can see how this deck sometimes, like if you just fall behind, you just fall behind. This is the draw step. What are you doing in the draw step? I don't know. They're not doing anything in the draw step. And there's no way to kill the Palace Jailer in order to get the Ingenious Infiltrator in there. Maybe that touching the Spirit Realm was good enough. It is the draw step. Gotta go one more step. Alright, there you go. White Plume? No. Just touch the Spirit Realm. Well, that's unfortunate. I assume they'll take the Retrofitter here. Kind of, I mean, they could just, I guess blinking the Palace Jailer is probably not what they want to do. Yeah, this is brutal. Well, I think my plan here is casting the Brazen Borrower, unfortunately. I do kind of force them to keep back their creature with Ingenious Infiltrator, because otherwise I'll be drawing a card. Alright, you get more lands. Alright. Three mana, huh? Let's see, this exiles a card from my hand. Okay, nothing I can do about that. Pretty awkward, because now even if I get the Brazen Borrower going, it's not enough. I kind of need to get lucky here. Fatal Push will do it, actually. It's kind of awkward, but you can Fatal Push and then Daze your Fatal Push to trigger Revolt and pay for it. I'm not blocking. Okay. Okay. You can draw a card, and then I'm going to cast Brazen Borrower. So they know I have this, so they've got to probably have something here. I don't hate that. Let's swing with everything. So I don't want a ninjutsu. They have Karakas. So just leave the Brazen Borrower here. Take the Monarch. Okay, so this is not great for me, but it's not actually terrible. I mean, I need to get a removal spell at some point for the Palace Jailer. So something like Snuff Out would be good. Two, three, four, five. With the Lotus Petal, my Daze is like pretty bad. My plan here is to play out the Changeling Outcast, which is pretty good here. I mean, it basically, it's a creature, they can't block it. It will always take the initiative. But, you know, trading damage with the Palace Jailer is going to be a losing. That's going to be losing, you know, unless I can get a removal spell. My opponent's taken a long time in these situations. All right. So I will take the Monarch, take the initiative. I'm going to grab just an island here. Because worst case, I can, if I draw fetch land, I can always put the Fatal Push back on top or something. So I'm going to play the island, play the Changeling Outcast. And this gives me a flyer and a unblockable. So that's something. Ornithopter's not great here. Well, they're going to take the Monarch and the initiative. We're going to trade these things back. I guess I have to put these onto the stack. I could have played out Yuriko maybe to force them to bounce it. I don't know if that's actually good. So they can forge and kind of go all in on the Palace Jailer, which isn't unreasonable. No, they're going to scry. One, two, three, four, five, six. And this is humans are uncounterable. All right. 2 top, 0 bottom. That's not good. And they draw one of them. I at least have a blocker. The Snuff Out's great. Let's swing with everything. All right. This is getting a little better. All right, I'll take the Monarch. And I will take the initiative. What do I want to go down? Do I want to go down the Forge or the Lost Well? With my opponent having so many cards, I actually think, like, do I try to close this out? I don't hate that. I kind of don't want to forge, though, the Changeling Outcast. So if I forge, actually that's lethal next turn. So maybe I guess I have to forge here. So I'm going to forge. It's a little awkward. My opponent could really get me here. I'm going to just Ornithopter, and I'm going to pass the turn. I know that they could touch the Spirit Realm here. Like, they have mana up for Touch the Spirit Realm to protect the Palace Jailer, and they could draw that with the Palace Jailer. But, yeah. We will see how it goes, I guess is the right way to put it. So I'm 100% blocking with the Ornithopter. So you keep the initiative here, and then I have lethal, so they have to have something. Okay, City of Traders, got lots of mana. 4 cards too. My opponent, after double topping with their, or was it 1 top 1 bottom? I don't remember. Oh, let's see. No, they scried 2 top, so I don't know what they're doing here. They gotta have something. Okay. Amaria's Call. That's trouble. So I can force them to tap the Caracas, but I don't think that does anything. I don't think it does anything. All right. And the Palace Jailer's indestructible. So I'm gonna snuff out one of the angels here, and I'll just pay full price. and then hope to draw like, so I'm going to trap, and I hope to draw like a removal spell for the angel. A cantrip would also do it because I can fetch, put the Fatal Push or the Snuff Out on top, and then do it again. So let's trap. Oh, I guess that doesn't do it. I thought that did it, but it doesn't. Okay. And my opponent would have to go to the stash. Okay. I miscounted the life total. Whoops. Still, I'm in good shape here. So I'm going to swing with the Changeling Outcast. Because I draw the card actually during... I'll draw the card during my opponent's... Or during my turn, actually. Because of the Monarch. And I might just throw the Ingenious Infiltrator in front of the... Throw him into the fire, I guess. So let's... So I have to crack this. This is how this works. Crack this. Grab Mystic Sanctuary. Get Fatal Push. Yes. Play the Ingenious Infiltrator. And then I have an end step stop on my turn. So let's do this. Draw the card. Fatal Push. All right. And now I have lethal plus a blocker. So it's not unstoppable, but it's not terrible. And I can actually daze and return the Mystic Sanctuary to like get one of the removal spells. Although I can't draw it until my turn. I can't draw it until I have a draw. So something like the Monarch. Man, if the Monarch drew during your upkeep, it would be insane. Or well, I guess it wouldn't be because you'd probably lose the Monarch before you drew. I guess yeah, in some ways like the initiative, like I definitely when I first like looked at the initiative, I sort of thought it was a worse Monarch. But what really makes the initiative much better is that you can. Okay, so my opponent has a Solitude. The Daze does nothing here, so yeah, nothing I can do. I guess they're gonna probably hit the Ingenious Infiltrator. So this connects, but then like you need to draw something because I've lethal. All right, well we'll see how this goes. I mean, I'm going to attack you. All right, yeah, you got it. So they do draw a card. Maybe they're hoping to draw an out, or they'll draw a card at the end of their turn. All right, venture into the Undercity. You got the stash. Maybe they have a Touch the Spirit Realm here off the stash, which I'll daze. That would be funny if that's the winning combination. I mean, you know I'm attacking, so going to the arena doesn't do anything. Okay, but they're going to go into the arena anyway. Okay, well, I mean, I am going to attack with him. You have a card. I mean, I have lethal, so you got to have something. Of course, you have lethal as well, so we'll see how that goes. And I cannot actually cast the Ingenious Infiltrator without getting... Okay, yeah, they just lose. I was a little confused about that, so we'll see how that goes. Or rather, we saw how that went. They just lost. Okay. So that was game 1, I think. Yeah, that was game 1. I think my opponent's down 5 minutes on clock against me too. So again, I want the dystopias, want the Torpor Orb. Plague Engineer is actually probably okay in this matchup. Probably better than the attrition. On the draw, I think I don't want Daze. I hate to cut 1-drops, but that's probably what I want to do. Maybe it's cutting it on Ingenious Infiltrator. I think I want all the zeros. Yeah, maybe it's just a ponder or something. And I think last time I cut a Retrofitter. I'm going to try this. You don't want to like lower your good cards too much. Like you have to keep the critical mass of ninjas, otherwise you just lose. But yeah, let's go with this and hope that this is good. Maybe you cut both Dazes and you leave in like, I'm going to leave in a Retrofitter. All right, let's go with this. Hope that they don't get the killer draw and that I do have the killer draw. This is pretty good. The only problem with this is I do have to force a turn 1 Chalice, but this is good. I'm going to keep this. So turn 1 Changeling Outcast is good. I think that's better than playing Retrofitter. Okay, you've got Chalice on, or Cavern on Cleric. Okay, I don't hate that. I'm gonna just play the Underground Sea, or actually, with Cleric. That could be that flying 3/1. Maybe I'll play the Polluted Delta out and just fetch another Underground Sea. It's awkward to like waste your fetch lands like that, but I don't wanna get caught. So now they can. I mean, Changeling Outcast will always steal the initiative. It sort of forces them to like have a solution to it, which could be Solitude, but post board maybe they have Swords to Plowshares in. Next turn, if I cast the Retrofitter, I'm in great shape because that makes things very awkward for them. But they could have White Plume here. I'm actually inclined to force this, given that they have Cavern of Souls. Like I think it's not very good, so I'm actually inclined to just use the force, and I'm going to pitch the other force. So, yeah, we're keeping the Changeling Outcast, buddy. If you want a double Solitude, you can double Solitude. You got it. They have a plains here, but I'm going to take the initiative. Hope they don't have a second Solitude. All right. Well, sounds good. My hand's a little awkward. I'm a little land heavy here. But what this enables me to do, and I hope they don't have a second Solitude, is I can attack, take the initiative, and I can threaten a block with a token. I'll take the island. I already have a swamp, so I'll just play a Retrofitter, and now I'm sort of threatening a 4/4. So they're like, I mean, I guess that they can play Seasoned Dungeoneer, which is pretty good. That would be probably their best play here. Nothing I can really do against that, or not too much anyway. All right, you have another Caracas. Still have the plains in hand, so we'll see how this goes. Touch the spirit realm, and they're casting it. Okay. What are they doing this on? So they're hitting the Retrofitter. I'm going to actually make a 4/4 here, and yeah, I'm gonna try to keep the initiative. Okay, yep, they just scoop it up. So there we go. They have basically, I have a 4/4. I swing in. I can't stop them from retaking the initiative, but like they're sort of in trouble. All right, awesome. All right, on the draw. I've definitely played this guy a bunch of times, but I don't know what they are on. So I think they play a variety of decks. Anyway, we'll see how it goes. Queues are a little bit longer this evening, so it's possible they stepped away. This hand's not amazing, but I'm going to keep it. It needs two things, but it's okay. It's got a cantrip and it's got a Yuriko, so I'm going to keep it. Hope they don't have a turn one. That would be really bad. This is a borderline keep, I think. Like, it's a fine 6-card hand, so, you know, it's one of those things. Looks like Delver. Okay. Hand got a little bit better. Or, actually, I don't know if that's better. Let's see what the Ponder does. Okay. This isn't bad. I don't mind this. Hitting another cantrip. I mean, this looks like Delver, so I think you go slow in this matchup. I'm gonna put the Fatal Push. Yeah, I'm gonna put it there, just in case this is not Delver. I'm gonna put the Force of Will on top, and we'll pass. So this matchup, like if you don't have a very fast hand, you generally want to go slow, because once you have 4 lands, like you force them to use removal either at sorcery speed on your Ornithopters or whatever, or you're gonna like double ninjutsu and make them use 2 removals. So end of turn Brainstorm makes me think not Delver. Like I feel like that's not a Delver action. Yeah, we'll see where this goes. Okay. I'm starting to get like sneak and show vibes with the multiple cantrips. It still could be Delver, but I'm starting to think sneak and show. Which is going to be really bad here. Like against that, in that matchup, you want a fast start, like a very fast start, which now I do not have. I think you main phase Brainstorm here and hope to hit like a fetch land, put some of these lands back. If they daze it, it's fine. Didn't hit the fetch land. Hit another cantrip, I guess. I think I'll put this back and just a Brainstorm. No, I want the Brainstorm. Let's put like a land on top. And I'll just play another island. Yeah, just play another island. Like there's no way I'm fatal pushing at the end of their turn. And if they're Delver, like I don't want to play into Daze like that. But I'm getting sneak and show vibes here. If it is, if they just play show and tell, I'm going to daze it, and then I'll back it up with force. I'm tempted to just daze here. Starting to think this isn't sneak and show, because that doesn't feel like a sneak and show kind of play. Maybe it is. Alright, I'm going to just let them play through it, I think. Like, I don't think I'm going to brainstorm here. I know that I have a Fatal Push on top, but I think what I'm going to do is brainstorm next turn into 3 unknown cards. I do have the brainstorm in case they have like some sort of play, some sort of thing I need to counterspell. Although I guess I can force, but against sneak and show, typically they don't go for it until they have it, is the right answer. Okay. Boy, this sure looks like Delver. Okay. They're going to go for it again. This time I'm going to let it go. Okay, you took... I have no idea what's going on here. I'm going to brainstorm and hope to hit a fetch land this time. Still whiffed. Okay. I'm definitely going to play the swamp, which means I think I can put... I think I'll still put a Fatal Push on top and then put the island on top. And just play out the swamp, play out the Ornithopter. The other Yuriko is pitchable to Force of Will. Somewhat unfortunate, because I don't have a second swamp, I can't double ninjutsu 2 Yurikos. Okay. I think that's fine. This sure looks like Delver. I am very confused about what's going on. Like, they're playing mega slow for Delver. Like, I've seen 0 threats. Alright, so that was the Brainstorm that they exiled. They still haven't played a land for turn. You got a Wasteland. There's Delver. So weird. Alright, so I'm drawing the land. I think I'm just going to play out the Ornithopter and play out Yuriko. Like, this is so weird, but I think that's what you do. If this draws a force, that's fine. But I assume they've got to have, like, lightning bolts and stuff. They do have a Brazen Borrower in exile, so, like, attacking with the Ornithopter is not something I want to do. Alright, you've got an expressive iteration again. You got it. Got another land. Man, my opponent is just crushing me under card advantage. Yep. Okay. No attack with the Ornithopter. Or no attack with the Insectile Aberration. I don't think I want to play the second Yuriko. I think I'm just going to pass the turn. They're going to play out the Brazen Borrower, which I think is fine. I'll probably, end of their turn, hit the Fatal Push the Insectile Aberration. I kind of have to force a Murktide Regent, which is really bad. Okay. All right. Well, I'm still gonna Fatal Push the Insectile Aberration. This is like the slowest Delver matchup ever. It's so weird. The Daze is worthless, except as a force pitch target. So I can't attack because of Brazen Borrower, so I'm just going to pass the turn. I don't really want to play out the Otawara. It's online, and it's just going to get wastelanded. So no point to playing that out into the hardcast force. It's such a weird matchup right now. All right, you have Brazen Borrower. I have Otawara for a Murktide, but it's still probably not good. All right, I can Fatal Push Daze. Retrofitter's pretty good here. I'm going to cast that. We're going to see how this goes. They kind of have to force this. Now the question here is, do I want to force back? And I think the answer is yes. They could have, like, main deck Pyroblast is totally a thing though. But I think you gotta go for it. The Daze is worthless now anyway, so. Let's see. See if my Retrofitter resolves. They have fetched a land. Here's the Pyroblast. Alright. Ouch. I don't want to waste the Yuriko on that. So I think I'll just let it go. And this, yeah, it's still 2 or less. I don't want to do that. If I get a fetch land, I'll probably do it. I'll probably fire it off on the Brazen Borrower. So weird. All right. Yep, no point. So my opponent is hesitant to use Lightning Bolt on Ornithopter. Although that's probably not a bad move, to be honest. Like, eventually I'm going to get something that gets through what they're doing. I lean toward just Fatal Pushing the Delver here. You gonna force that too? Daze returning their Mystic Sanctuary. Okay. Got the fetch land. So now I can at least hardcast Force. I can also get Mystic Sanctuary to return something like Ponder if I want to. Yep. Yep. So I'm leaning toward actually just getting Mystic Sanctuary into Ponder. Sure. Changeling Outcast is good. I like this. So, yeah, let's do it. Shuffle your library, no. Let's play it. And we'll just pass. You gonna force this one? So they get to flip the Delver here. Oh, they are gonna force this. Okay, so they get to EI here. So I can either force this or force the EI. I'm going to let them do this, and I think I'm going to force the EI. Actually, maybe I'll, yeah, I'm going to let this go. I think I'm going to force the EI. Yeah. So I'm gonna force this, and then we'll see how it goes. They're swinging. I could bounce it with Otawara, but I don't think I really want to do that. So Ponder, I have a fetch land plus unknown cards. I don't hate this, but I don't really love it. What I think I'm going to do, actually, this is kind of awkward. I'm going to go swamp. So I'm going to put this back, put this back, put this back. No, this is super weird. And then I'm going to play a swamp and pass the turn. And at the end of their turn, I'll bounce with Otawara. And then I have double ninjutsu. It's so weird, but all right. Yep. All right. So we bounce this. And then we try to connect. So let's Yuriko, and then we'll see if they have anything. They didn't, so we'll just draw. I'm gonna play the Ornithopter. I'm gonna just hold the Polluted Delta. I have unknown cards on top of my deck. I'm gonna force the Ornithopter. That would be pretty funny. Cool. Yeah, we'll just do this. And basically hope they don't have like Murktide. I'm not super worried about Delver. Delver, you just attack into it. Yep. Nothing I can do there. Yep. All right. Well, I'm chilling. This is like the weirdest matchup ever. I am up quite a bit of clock on my opponent. Well, not that much, I guess. I'm up about 3 minutes. Let's see if this is a flip. No flip. That means it's a Murktide, probably. I mean, we're so deep and they don't have a Murktide yet. Oh, they decided to shuffle it, so it must have been a land. Oh, that's bad. Because now they get something real good. All right. Ponder. Yep. I think I'm gonna lose this game. This is a hard one to come back from. I need to draw like a Brainstorm. Only 2 left in the deck. Alright, you got Dragon Rage Channeler, 3/3 flying. This deck has no way to deal with flyers, or no way to deal with the graveyard, really. Ponder's not the worst. I don't hate the Retrofitter. Retrofitter's pretty good here. So let's put that back, put this back, put this back. No. I'll just play the Underground Sea. Oops, I meant to play the fetch land, but I'll just play the Retrofitter. You gonna force this one too? You got it. So I've now revealed 2 Retrofitters. So that means, wow. All right, this game's over. You got it. You know what I'm gonna do? Actually, I'm gonna hardcast the Moon Circuit. Still, I'm in big trouble here. I'm pretty sure I'm dead. Oh, with a bolt? Yeah, I don't think there's any way I beat this. My opponent's giving me like so much credit. I mean, I'm swinging with the Moon Circuit. They're blocking with Delver. All right. I know I have a fetch land on top of my deck, so I'm gonna just do this and shuffle it away. This game is so over. Yeah, they got their card advantage engines, the 4 expressive iterations going, and I didn't. I think they have every land in their deck here, except for Wastelands. Let's see if I can draw something that turn this around. That's something. I mean, I guess I'll do it. We'll just get rid of a bunch of lands. And maybe, yeah, Otawara. Alright. Let's Murderous Cut that guy. And hope to draw something with Moon Circuit Hacker. Something like Fatal Push. Alright, what do you got? You got like another Bolt? Fail to Find? Fail to Find is fine. The only damage they've taken is from their like fetch lands, I feel. Alright. I'm sure they got a Bolt here for the Moon Circuit, because, you know, that's what Delver does. Could have Pyroblast. That would also work. Oh, I know they have Bolt. They have Bolt, right? They're choosing whether to kill me, I think. Nope. They're gonna bolt the creature. You got it. Alright. Well, they know I have nothing, so you're taking me to 1, and then we'll see what happens. I'm not blocking. That's not how I win this game, in quotation marks. Because I'm not winning this game. Okay. Yep. Okay, brainstorm. We're gonna brainstorm. Yeah, now I'm gonna concede this game. Okay. Okay. Well, that did not work. I still don't think this matchup's a bad one. I think this matchup's okay. I think none of the rest of this does anything except for Plague Engineer. Plague Engineer's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. I expect them to bring in Meltdown, so I'm gonna board out actually at least one Retrofitter Foundry because I expect them to. I expect Meltdown coming in. So I think you want some of the big mana stuff out. I think I want Dazes. I might be a Force. I don't think Force is how you win this game against Delver. So I'm gonna board those out. I'm gonna bring these in. Sticking Attrition usually can win this game. But you have to stick it, and then, you just, because we have 22 threats, and they have like 13 or 14 with their Brazen Borrowers. So I think this is good. Just got to make sure I get value out of my creatures, and, yeah, we'll see how it goes. This is a risky hand because it plays into Meltdown, but I'm still going to keep it. All right. So I'm going to just fetch basics. And we will see how it goes. And I'm only going to play out one Ornithopter in case they have Meltdown. I mean, I totally kind of have to play into Meltdown, which is how it goes. I'm wondering actually here if you just make a 4/4, just start the beats. I think, yeah, because they're holding up Bolt, so I think the answer here is make a 4/4. It plays into Meltdown, but so it goes. Hey, that's not bad. So we're swinging for 4. Playing the quick game here. Now the question is, do I want to play the Ornithopter and get 3 for 1 with Meltdown? I think I'm gonna not do that, and I'm gonna just hold up with Retrofitter. I have Blue Blast to try to stop the Meltdown, but like I may not stop the Meltdown is the right answer. I just don't want to like flood the board into Meltdown. All right, no Meltdown so far. So that's good. So I'm going to be end of turn, just make a servo, I think. You got it. I'm going to fetch Swamp. All right. All right. And I'm going to just still hold up. I think I can Blue Blast a threat and I have Brazen Borrower up, and I can Retrofitter. So all those are pretty good. Let's see what my opponent reveals here. Brainstorm. All right. Seems fine. Let's see what you got. Okay. Well, we're just going to keep making servos here, I think. And I'm going to Brainstorm. Looks good. Looks real good. Cool. So I'm going to aim to do the Ingenious Infiltrator the following turn. So what do I want to not have anymore? I don't want to play into Meltdown, even though I'm kind of a little all in there. And I'm gonna put the Brazen on top, but I'm gonna actually, do I really want to draw it? I'm gonna put the Moon Circuit Hacker on top. I still kind of want to draw it though, but I might have to if I have to Blue Blast something. Now let's do this. I don't even want to use my mana for the servo token right now. It can get in one more damage, but I don't even think that matters. Alright, let's play the Changeling Outcast. And technically I can even sack the Changeling Outcast to the Retrofitter if I want to. But I think if I don't see Meltdown here... Oh, okay. I mean, I'm definitely making a 4/4. So now I assume that they're going to try to Meltdown here. And I have a Blue Blast for that, but it's not amazing. Yep. So let's just grab Island and Blue Blast that. And they're going to force it. No, just scoop it up. All right, Blue Blast was enough. Okay. Yeah, so at this point, basically, I swing with everything. They have to block one of the constructs to chump, and then they take 5 and go to 1. And I even have ninjutsu to kill them. So, yeah, it's game. Okay. Hand was good. I think Daze could probably go out on the draw. For what, though? Maybe another Ingenious Infiltrator? I don't think you want another Back to Basics. You saw how they had Meltdown, so like I think cutting the Retrofitter was the right play. Like going down on Retrofitter. Basically trying to turn Meltdown into like something that kills an Ornithopter is where you want to be. Even though I was kind of on the Retrofitter plan that game. But yeah, I think all of this is pretty good. I think trimming a Daze and bringing in one of these is probably where I want to be. It's probably Ingenious Infiltrator. Just to try to... The way you win this matchup is getting a card advantage engine online, and like you have to sort of get through their removal. You know, they typically have like 4 or 5 Pyroblasts and a couple and 4 Lightning Bolts, and sometimes also like a Unholy Heat. So you got to get through all of it, and the way you do that is with double ninjutsu, which means you need a bunch of ninjas. Hand's good. It's got removal. It's got a bunch of fetch lands. Murderous Cut will be online with these fetch lands, so I think this is a keep. I think you definitely want a Brainstorm, but I mean you definitely want to get another removal spell, but this is okay. I'm gonna just play out a fetch and pass the turn. All right. No flip. All right, they're setting up a flip for next turn. That's fine. Okay, you have Wasteland. Yep. Cool. I think I'll just play out the Polluted. So I'm going to open with just Fetch Island and then Brainstorm. And then I can fetch a Swamp with this, which I think is probably what I want to do. Because I don't want to get Wastelanded, basically. This hand's okay. It's not amazing, but it's okay. The Otawara could be online. I think I'm definitely putting back at least one land, probably two. I'm definitely keeping Snuff Out. I think you want the ninjas. I think Brazen Borrower is a good keep. So I think, yeah, I definitely want all those. And I think the Daze is okay. It's probably actually going to be not so good here in a minute. Because they have the Wasteland and like, yeah, maybe you do put back the Daze actually. I'm going to put back Daze and a Prismatic and just play the, and then I'll have the Scalding Tarn for next turn. Yeah, I don't want a Daze. We're not dazing. So I can fetch Swamp and then Snuff Out on their turn, which, because they're going to flip here. And so being able to do that feels okay. All right, let's, no, I didn't get it. Okay, so we're going to snuff that out here. Fetch Swamp, Snuff Out. Yep. Sounds fine. So I can Murderous Cut that. My opponent is now sort of like they're kind of borked on lands a little bit. Ooh, that's pretty good. So the other thing I can do here is try to bait out like them, like fetch out an Underground Sea and try to bait out some removal here. Bait out the Wasteland. I don't hate that actually, because I have another land. But I think you open with Murderous Cut. So I'm going to fetch out Underground Sea and then Murderous Cut that thing. Let's get those, and I don't know if I really want to get another Snuff Out. I think I'm going to exile the Snuff Out. All right. Let's see if you force that. No. So I'll play the Changeling Outcast. I know my opponent has Bolt, so... but that forces them to basically like use their turn on Bolt. I'm kind of trying to bait out the Wasteland on the Underground Sea. Like, I don't care if they do it. Sure. All right. Nope. Ooh. All right. The only problem with attrition here is all my creatures cost a fortune. Like, they cost 1,000,000 mana. But I think you still just cast attrition here. So this turns every 1-drop into a removal spell. And like, they can Brazen Borrower this, but like they don't have other ways to get rid of enchantments. So This feels okay. They've got a Brainstorm. So attrition feels pretty good against Murktide. I also have a Brazen Borrower for Murktide, but you know, they'll probably have some amount of Force of Wills here. All right. Well, they kept the mana up. Just curious. Okay. Well, here you just cast Yuriko, and you know, we'll see what happens, I guess. Like if they have Bolt, they have Bolt. I think it's okay. You just cast Yuriko and, you know, around Daze, and okay, yeah, you can Pyroblast it. That's fine. All right, your card advantage engine is online. Let's see what they get here. They get a land. So what I want is like, okay, I don't want to play that here. I want to wait till I have one more land. Get the full value. All right. You got another one. I wonder if this deck needs like some creature that, you know, I don't know. I need like some creature that exiles cards from their graveyard, I feel. So here I'm gonna actually bounce. Actually, I don't think you want to bounce here. I think that's fine. I'm gonna bounce at the end of turn. If they Pyroblast that, they Pyroblast it. All right. Got another Pyroblast. Got all the Pyroblasts. All right. Well, I think I have to play out the Mystic Sanctuary here now, which is slightly awkward. Because I need to start getting these Ingenious Infiltrators into play. Yep. Got 4. So, yeah. So this is probably Murktide. I think I have to force the Murktide. And then if they... All right, it's stuck. Oh, that's so awkward. I think you do it. I think you do it in upkeep. They don't have force negation. It takes me to 4 though. Yeah, I guess you just have to do it now. All right. Super awkward. Yeah, the attrition hasn't been good. Like I feel like they were able to get through my initial like 1-drops and stuff. Oh, True Name Nemesis is unbeatable, I think. I don't think I have any way through that one. Nope. All right. You got me this time, opponent. Because presuming they have Bolt. I mean, I guess they... Oh, Bolt's exiled. So they can't Sanctuary the Bolt, but I mean, there's no way I can beat this here. Yeah, this is game. Well, the True Name ended up being good. If this was a Murktide, I'd be in much better shape. All right, on the draw again. see if we can get a better result. This hand's fine. It's a little all in on Yuriko, but it's got Daze and Force, so I'm going to keep it. Tundra's fine. So this looks like a control matchup. So I have options here. Okay, they're just going to swords. I'm actually tempted to Daze here. Actually, I'm gonna let the swords go because I have another one. I think it's fine. Tarmogoyf. That I might Daze. Thing's gonna get huge. What is this deck? All right. That was weird. Well, Snuff Out's pretty good. If I knew I had that, I would have let the Tarmogoyf go. All right. Let's replay the island and play the Ornithopter and see how it goes. So the only problem here is now I can't do the double ninjutsu. Let's see what my opponent's got here. Gonna do another. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna let that go. Just let them use removal on my Ornithopters. Ornithopters really enable the deck, but I still feel like it's like I don't want to be forcing that. I have to save it for other threats. All right. Well, let's play the Moon Circuit Hacker. My opponent sure looks like they have a lot of. Okay. Yep. Wasteland will be good later. Okay, they're gonna have another prismatic here. Yep, looks like it. Okay. Well, let's brainstorm and see what happens. Okay. I don't hate this. Do I want to make them use the wasteland? I don't know if that's that good. I guess it's not unreasonable. I'm definitely playing the Changeling Outcast here. All right, let's put force. I think you got to keep a force in case they have like a White Plume Adventure or something. I'm gonna put the Snuff Out because I'm not using that next turn, and then I'll put the Moon Circuit Hacker on top. I'll put the Moon Circuit Hacker on top. Give them a wasteland target, but that's fine. So if they don't wasteland me here, all right, what do you got here? Dress down, sure. Okay, are you Urowing? Yes, they are. That's awkward. Yep. So my plan here is to ninjutsu, draw the Snuff Out and then Snuff Out, I guess. Okay, I'm gonna just Snuff Out here, and then I'll replay the Changeling Outcast. All right, let's see how this goes. And I think if they try to, okay, so can't play the Euro. What are they forcing? Or what are they killing? They're killing the Changeling Outcast. Yeah, I think that's fine. White Plume Adventure? Well, I'm forcing that. And I think we pitch. I mean, they have no cards, so yeah, you pitch Ponder and then you use Yuriko to draw a card. All right. I'm still in big trouble if they hit the land for Uro. All right. No land for Uro. So they could just have Endurance here, which would be unfortunate. I'll Brainstorm if they do. All right. Let's just Brainstorm anyway. Looks great. I'm playing the island here. Or do I want to play the island and just like play out a Moon Circuit Hacker? I don't hate that. I can't do both. I can't play out a Moon Circuit Hacker and hold up, so I think I'll just put the Moon Circuit Hacker on top and hold the Yuriko to exile. Well, there's the mana for Uro. So I have to force the Uro. But they can just play it the following turn. So my plan here is make a servo, and then I'll Moon Circuit Hacker the servo in order to draw 2 cards. Or actually 3 cards. And basically hope that that's enough. So let's put that one first. Because if I draw Brainstorm, I can Brainstorm and try to like put something big on top. That's pretty good. I like that. Okay, let's play out the Ornithopter and yeah, I think I'm just good. So they can play the Uro again, but nope, not the Uro. Oh, maybe it is Uro. Okay. Okay, so I'm going to do it here. They go to 8. I'm still going to Murderous Cut right now. Let's get rid of some lands and spells, I guess. All right. We Murderous Cut. You go to 3 cards. Or you gain 3 life, 3 cards. You can Swords the Yuriko. Yeah, he's taking 8 right there, or taking 7. So yeah, so this looks like a 3-color. Like, oh, he's got Tarmogoyf. Yeah, let's see what this is. So maybe like a Bant Stoneblade deck with Wasteland. Yeah. Yeah, it kind of looks like what this is. So some sort of Bant Stoneblade. I think we bring in the dystopias here. I'm tempted to bring in Back to Basics, but I don't think that's what we want. I don't think we want Torpor Orb against a Neuro deck. I don't hate the attrition. I think the rest of this is no good. I don't hate Back to Basics, but like the fact that I saw the basic planes tells me like they have a few basics at least, right? Like planes probably wouldn't be the first one, and they have White Plume Adventure, so they have planes to fetch, or they have basics to fetch. So I think that I think Back to Basics is not what I want here. The fact that I didn't see any red makes me think the Retrofitter is okay. Like, sure, it's going to get Prismatic Ending, but that's probably okay. Probably cutting a Daze on the play, on the draw rather, is fine. Need the Fatal Pushes against their threats, I think is good. Like, I want the rest of this. I want everything. The question is, how much do I want each of these? I think the dystopias are for sure. Like, that card's really good. The attrition, I think it's still probably good. Like it kind of blanks their removal. So I'm leaning toward bringing in. I think the Brazen Borrower. I think I can trim a Brazen Borrower. Although if they have, if they have Cauldra, I kind of need it. Maybe it's a force. Just play for value. All right, let's go. Hope my sideboard cards are enough. Hand's not stellar. It's slow, but I think I'll keep it. Like, I don't think this is a matchup where I'm racing. It didn't look like they were playing like a super fast White Plume. Like, I don't think that's their game plan. So if I can get like a turn 2 Changeling Outcast, that's probably still okay. And I'm still threatening something with the turn 1 Ornithopter. I'm still threatening them, so I think they have to play. They have to like Swords it or Prismatic Ending. Okay. Let's play this. Do I want to play out both threats at once and like play into Terminus? They don't have Terminus, right? Like, they don't have Terminus. They could have a board wipe, but they don't have Terminus. So let's cast Ornithopter and let's cast Rograkh. Like, they don't have Terminus, so. Let's go. Hope to draw like a ninja here. So my opponent has some choices here. Like, they can play slow. They can try to kill both threats. All right. Well, I'm going to Brainstorm first. Okay, I like all of this. I don't think I need the attrition right now. Although it is like kind of my only removal spell. I haven't seen Stoneforge, so I'm tempted to put back Brazen Borrower. Or I could just put back Brainstorm and like, no. Let's go with these, put those back, and just play a Changeling Outcast and see what happens. So no board wipes. Let's go. So I sort of threatened them, like, it's hard for them to play all of their, like, they have to leave mana up, basically, to address my threat of possible playing ninjas. Okay, so this is perfect. So you play this, and then you swing with... I'm going to just swing with everything. Like, even if they crack this for an Ice Fang, I think it's okay. So I'm going to open with Yuriko and try to force something. Try to force their hand. All right. So here's where you 2 for 1. For strike damage with Rograkh. The old 0. Now the question is, do I want to play out the Ornithopter? I lean toward actually not playing it out here. Like, if they have a board wipe, they have a board wipe. You got Uro, buddy. Oh, if they have no lands, they're in serious, serious trouble here. Okay, like, I'm gonna put in Yuriko and just get a... I guess after doing Yuriko, I think I should Brainstorm and try to just get maximum damage. I think that's better than flooding with the Ingenious Infiltrator. Actually, I'm going to tap differently. Let's Ninjutsu Rograkh. All right, so I want to do... let's do this one last, because I have to pitch. So let's Brainstorm here first. See what I draw. All right. Put Attrition, Ingenious Infiltrator on top, and then hit both of those. Let's do this. And then I have to pitch. Let's see, I've played a land already. I think we pitch a land. I don't want to pitch the Mystic. Yeah, I'll pitch the Underground Sea. Okay. My opponent just straight concedes. So, yeah, I take them to 4. I have Fatal Push for Uro. Like, nothing, like they're in big trouble, basically, is the right answer. Yeah, well, that's what happens when Ninjas gets a good draw against you. Like, but the patience of just waiting until I had double ninjutsu to play around Swords to Plowshares, I think that really paid off, right? Like, getting your ninja threat plowed, like, you know, suddenly you're trading 1 for 1 with the opponent, and it's, you know, you're not getting full value out of your cards. Whereas, you know, when you for 1 mana, like save your creature and get another, like you're 2 for 0ing your opponent. It's massive value. All right, on to the next. All right, on the draw. Hand's okay. It doesn't have a cantrip, which would make this really good, but I think this is still a keep. It's got force, it's got a Changeling Outcast. Like, what more can you really hope for? You can hope for a deck that isn't a turn 1 deck. All right, this kind of looks like TES. Okay, Echo. So this is TES. Oh, okay. You can repeal that. Kind of confused, but I guess they're just storming here. Oh, please tell me this isn't an empty. Like, I'm tempted to force this. I'm tempted to just force this. I'm going to let it go. We're going to see how this goes. I hope this isn't an empty. Okay, what do they got? They land grant into Galvanic Relay. Okay, so forcing it actually wouldn't have done anything. All right. Well, nothing I can do there. Urza's Saga. Another Galvanic, Veil, Lotus Petal. It's actually not that great of a relay, to be honest. Well, I'm just going to grab Underground Sea and Changeling Outcast here. Let's see what they got. They have Urza's Saga, which is going to be a little annoying. Got Lotus Petal. You can Chrome Mox, but I guess you can Galvanic again. I guess with the, yeah, that'll work. You can Galvanic. You can actually even double Galvanic. Okay, no imprint. You got Veil. Okay. I mean, I'm not countering anything, so. Okay, so it's everything after the Echo. Repeal, Chrome Mox, Veil, LED. And no Galvanic again? Surprised they don't. Okay, yeah. Yep, that makes sense. Ether Spellbomb. Okay, so this is Song of Creation Storm. Man, brutal. Okay. So can they cast this? Yes, they can. Whenever you cast a spell, and they can cast this through Veil or with Veil. Can they? Yes, because they can play the Taiga. I think I'm hosed here, to be honest. Maybe you just Brainstorm in Moon Circuit Hacker. Like, I don't know. I'm in trouble. Oh, brutal. Well, putting lands back. I definitely don't want that. And I'll put back this one. So I think I'm probably just going to lose here. Because like they have Veil. They have Song of Creation with Veil backup. Not sure there's much I can do about that. Yep. So if I force here, they just Veil. So I don't think you do anything. Okay. Or we let that go. Do I want to veil this? No, because he can veil it with that Chrome Mox. It's a pretty cool deck, actually. Oh, yeah, I remember this. Just a bunch of 0 drops and Song of Creation. Try to get there. All right. My opponent is going to get to infinite mana here. Not a lot I can do about that. They still have the Lotus Petal. I mean, like, I can force this, but I don't think that matters. Oh, am I just hosed? I will concede, I think, to Echo here. Yep. All right. This game's over. Okay. Well, that was cool. Okay. I don't even know if Hurkyl's Recall's that good, but it's pretty good with Damping Sphere. I think Blue Blast is good. Force of Negation's good. Grafdiggers is a maybe. I don't think Back to Basics is where you want to be. Surgical's a maybe. I didn't see any creatures, so... Well, I guess they have Urza Sagas. Maybe I'll leave in Murderous Cut. Maybe. I don't know. And I think Retrofitter's probably just too slow. Yeah. Okay. So Damping Sphere is what I really want here. Maybe let's board these out, bring in these 5. And to be fair, like, I don't even think Murderous Cut's very good. Maybe I'll board that out too. Maybe I'll take a Grafdiggers and a Surgical. Grafdiggers only really hits Echo. Maybe I'll just take another Surgical. All right, let's go with this. And loses the game. This doesn't do anything. Yeah, I mean, I'll keep this, I guess. I think you only need 1 ninja, so I'll keep the Brainstorms. If my opponent does Song of Creation turn 1, I will Brainstorm. Otherwise, I will Brainstorm at the EOT, and then I will Brainstorm on my turn as well. Okay. Yep. Yep. Reset. Well, I got a Brainstorm here. This is really bad. Now those other Brainstorms are mega dead. Oh, I'm so dead here. I'm Brainstorm locked, and I can't do anything. I'm so dead. Oh, does he just have it? He just has it. All right, this game's over. Okay, so lost to some sort of Turbo Wheels deck. All right. So overall thoughts on the deck. I think the deck's still good. I would probably run close to the 75. I'm not sold on attrition, you know, like I even drew it against Delver and I felt it wasn't, part of the reason why I wasn't good is I didn't have any more like Ornithopters or 1-drops. I was down to my late game stuff, and you know, they'd already sort of dealt with most of my creatures, so I didn't really get the full value out of it. I don't know if this card is worth playing. Otherwise, I think the rest of this 75 is pretty good. Um, I think there's some considerations for cards like Baleful Strix, but you know, to be 100% honest, like I don't think you want Baleful Strix in ninjas. Like, generally, I don't think you want Baleful Strix in ninjas. Although, what I'll say is Baleful Strix is like among the best positioned it's been in a long time right now, because there's so much like of those white initiative decks, just initiative decks in general, where Baleful Strix is really good. You know, it's a flyer. It can block an initiative creature, although um, not seasoned dungeoneer. But it sort of does everything you really want in that matchup. It replaces itself, so like if they solitude it, it feels really bad. Um, you know, overall that card's like the best it's positioned in a while. Although I'm just not sold on that card in ninjas generally. Um, didn't get to show off some of these other sideboard cards, but um, you know, overall didn't feel any of it was too wrong. I do think attrition's probably a cut. Maybe you just run a Plague Engineer or maybe another Blue Blast or something. The Mystic Sanctuary again was slightly awkward. I don't feel like I definitely activated it a couple times, but like there's a part of me that just thinks this should maybe just be a land. Like having just smoother, like this deck already trims so much on lands that, you know, like playing a tap land when you don't want to is so bad. Otawara, I feel, is fine. That card, by contrast, like, sure, it's not a basic, but like it's easy to play. It's an untapped land, and actually the cost reduction is like this has been this like I found that the cost reduction is meaningful here. Like between Yuriko and Rograkh, like sometimes you just are Otawaraing for 2, and that makes Otawara like much better. So overall, I think the deck probably wouldn't change too much. I think the deck's still very strong. Um, we sort of saw, like, I think in the like Bant matchup, where you really saw the power of like when this deck gets a good draw, it can just you know take somebody to 4 life by turn 3 or turn 4. So um, yeah, I do think that like Ingenious Infiltrator and Yuriko the Tiger's Shadow, like Ingenious Infiltrator, it's awkward to say this, but might be one of the worst cards in the deck, and maybe you want to cut this for something else, like I don't know, maybe even another Ponder, or maybe maybe this becomes a Baleful Strix. I don't know, but yeah, I do feel like Ingenious Infiltrator is one of the worst cards in the deck right now. Um, Whereas Moon Circuit Hacker is much better. Like I think Moon Circuit Hacker sort of does what Ingenious Infiltrator does, except it's much easier to hardcast and it ninjutsus for 1 less. So yeah, I don't know. I think it's good. We saw how this deck kind of ran over initiative. Uh, those matchups, were like, even though I won both of those matchups, I do feel like that matchup is a little closer than it appears. I don't think it's a bad matchup. I do think it's a Ninja's favored matchup, but I do think that like they can still just get a good draw and get you. Like I don't think that's like a 70-30 matchup or something like that. It's probably like 55-45 or 60-40 maybe. Anyway, thanks for watching. If you like normally Nick Fit content, although it's been a little while since Nick Fit's like so poorly positioned right now, check out the rest of my YouTube channel, or you can check out nickfitmtg.com if you like reading about Nick Fit. Although it's a little outdated now. Anyway, thanks for tuning in and have a good rest of your evening.